We're joined right now on realculture.com by Ted Haney. Welcome today, Ted.
Good to be here.
Ted, let's talk, of course, about the XL Foods beef recall, but more from the standpoint of beef sales. As you begin, when this plant does reopen, how does somebody go about trying to reestablish confidence in the beef product?
Well, first off, it is at a fundamental level, this is a company-specific issue. This plant is very important to our industry, and it exports between 30 and 40% of the total value and volume of beef that Canada exports. So that whole product is not moving internationally right now. Myself, I've talked to other packers in the industry, both large and small, and many of the customers buying product from XL are contacting other Canadian packers, trying to lay in a short-term supply in order to keep their business lines going until the XL plant gets up and operating again. So that's all very positive messaging that internationally this is not so much being viewed as a crisis of confidence, it's viewed as a supply interruption while the company gets back online with the inspection authorities.
So when that plant does go back online, is it as easy as business as usual, or does this issue that has affected this plant and got it shut down, does that have long-term effects with its customers?
Well, I think in the long term, this is not going to be living with the company, with the plant. But there's very short term and then medium term transitional issues that will definitely be at play. And the reality is how a company always restarts after trouble is it restarts with its best, most committed clients, typically customers who have worked on any kind of joint branding or have committed a vast majority of their menu space or meat case space to that company's products, and simply that the two rely on each other. These companies are going to support each other after the crisis has initially passed, and business will flow because it's in the interests of both to get back to sales right away. There are those other companies that may decide in the short term they want to decrease their reliance on XL. The goal there is simply to get product back into that distribution channel, maybe at a lower volume. You might have to be a bit more aggressive on pricing, make it more attractive. But bottom line is get at least some product back in those distribution channels. And then there's the tough nuts. There are some that maybe weren't the best clients to start with, but would buy product from time to time or some product always, and they may well be very difficult to get back for the next few weeks or months or even the next year or two. And the challenge there is to go find other clients to replace them, who you'll sell to for the first time as the new and approved and relicensed XL Foods. So pretty straightforward kind of sales strategies, and it's all based in how people think because at the end of the day, sales is about people.
Well, I think if we look at going through that process, do you think is that a tougher task internationally more so than like a domestic when you're talking to domestic customers, or does the international restoring international confidence, is that a tougher situation?
Well, the real answer is it depends. It's yes, no, and the same. And that depends on the country, depends on the regulator, and depends on the client. There are clients in each market that understand that a company can end up in a difficult situation, and that a regulator will come in and take a pretty big step, and that plant will be out of business for a few days. It's happened to other suppliers around the world from time to time, and that they simply wait until the product becomes available, accompanied by the new export certificates, and they'll get back to business right away. And that would be in all countries, whether it's Japan or Hong Kong or Mexico or Russia or wherever. That's just there are those customers that are like that. The farther you get away from the point of production, the more it's just business. There's not so much emotion involved. In the big picture, on a world scale, the Lakeside plant is pretty small, maybe 0.2% of world beef production, something in the area of 3 to 4% of North American beef production. So It's just another plant from someplace far away if you go away far enough. And that's probably helpful in this kind of situation where you just want to be a supplier.
A lot of people criticizing the how quiet Excel has been, I guess, with the press and with consumers in general, as far as not making very many statements. There was a statement today by press release, but there hasn't been a lot said. The way they've very privately handled this, does that impact their ability to establish connections with their customers?
I'm confident that internationally, the XL strategy, which has been primarily to sell beef through traders and other brokers who act as very, very closely tied intermediaries, will work in their favor in this case. And that's because those intermediaries, the traders, the buyers and sellers, buying product locally in Alberta and selling it in Hong Kong or in Japan or South Korea, Mexico or Russia, those people are going to be communicating every piece of information to their key clients every day, keeping them fully informed with whatever's available. And so those clients are actually being liaised with, um, quite closely. I would also assume that in the domestic market, where XL has its own sales force, those salespeople are in fact in contact with the buyers of those major key clients and independent clients as well. So they're actually being communicated to within the distribution channels. More generally, XL Foods does not carry a lot of consumer branded products. They carry their own name, and so their name is not a household item for consumers. It maybe means that in good times they don't extract the last and highest margin on a product, but maybe it also means they won't be negatively affected quite as much emerging out of the shutdown that they've just been in right now.
Okay, Ted. Well, thank you very much, and we'll definitely talk to you again soon.
My pleasure. Thank you again.